she was getting, I actually, I don't even remember what the story was. Now, the good news here is that at the shopping center where, you know, my wife works, there's cameras everywhere. Like, I'm not even kidding you. I wish this was an exaggerated joke. It's literally not. There is an actual camera set up about 20, 30 feet away from where this happened in the parking lot. It's right there. It's a security camera. And it's you know, must have gotten something on video of this. It had to have. Okay? But what you gotta understand is, around here, crime is very high. So there's potential that if someone actually did this, there's absolutely no way that they're gonna get them, because likely they were probably wearing a hoodie, a mask.
Urban style individual.
What's up with y'all? Hopefully this video finds you in good spirits, and if not, well, at least you're not DSP. And in this video, we're going to examine Phil explain to us the tire quote-unquote jacking story. So many holes in this story, and we're going to examine some of these. So let's get into it.
So I go on my break, and I lift up my phone, and I notice, oh shit, my wife has been texting me for about 30 minutes or so. But, you know, I've been playing the game, so I'm not paying attention to my phone particularly. You know, as you guys know, I have everything on silent in the office on purpose so that there's no distractions during streams. Kind of necessary when you've been doxxed multiple times and all your shit's on the internet. You gotta make sure everything's, you know, silent so you don't get interrupted. And so as soon as I go on break, I see this, like, oh shit. So I call her right away. And I said, what's going on? And she says, so basically, she was getting, I don't even remember what the story was.
So out the gate, we already got some bullshit. So you telling me that you was in the middle of work? Fellas, just put yourself in this position. You at work, and your wife or your fiance, whoever your woman is, she texts you, or she's been texting you, and you were busy. You get to your phone and realize, man, she been texting you talking about an emergency. And you're gonna tell me you can't recall the circumstances surrounding those text messages and phone calls? I mean, we are already starting off shaky, Phil, but go ahead.
Exactly, because the whole thing hit me so hard. I don't know if she was going on break or she was actually getting out of work, whatever it was. She was leaving her job and she...
Going on break or leaving out of work. Now, you know her schedule. If somebody's getting off work, wouldn't that be later in the day? And if they were going on break, wouldn't that be like midday sometime, right? Why is he acting like he doesn't know her schedule and what that consists of? This shit is so fishy. But go ahead, Phil.
She walked into the parking lot. As she's walking to the car, she realizes. She's looking at it, she's like, what in the hell? Our car, get this, which is locked, secure, everything should be safe, is supported by a car jack, and a tire is missing.
Y'all notice all this extra bouncing that he's doing for emphasis? I mean, I know it's something small. It's just so annoying.
If you don't believe me, I have evidence. That is our car in the parking lot of where my wife works, missing a fucking tire.
Now look at this photo. You can see that there's some damage on the side of the car. And that car jack right there, it looks like something that comes with compact vehicles. It looks like something that came with the car when they purchased it. Okay, and then if you look closely at the line in the parking lot, that's actually sideways in the parking spot. I mean, it's just so many things about this story that don't make sense, but I'm gonna let him continue.
The entire tire, not just the rubber, the entire tire has been removed. And as if to be extra dickish, they took the lug nuts. They took those fucking lug nuts with them. They did not leave them. Okay? That is what she sees when she's coming out to the car after work.
So, in order for this to make sense, you know, just real quick, that person would have had to have opened up this car, which Phil claims is all secure, and used the jack that came with the car to steal the tire that's on the car. I mean, are y'all following this?
The funny thing is they left their jack. But I hate to tell you guys this, I'm not sure if you're aware, what do they call it? Economies of scale, or the law of equivalent exchange. The value of a car's entire wheel is not equivalent to the value of a car jack. It is a very unfair exchange. And although I appreciate the fact that they actually left the car jack, all right, sadly, it is not a fair trade. And I am sorry. I appreciate the nice gesture, perhaps, but it's just not right.
And you see how he had to try to make light of the jack because it doesn't make sense. It's very obvious that this car was pulled over here by a truck or something and then propped up like this after whatever happened actually happened. But go ahead, Phil.
So this is what my wife sees when she's going out to her car. Like, what the fuck? So she runs back inside, and of course, first thing she does, she tells the other people she works with what's going on. They call mall security. Mall security gets involved, comes out, looks at the car, and the mall security basically says, well, we can't touch anything. We're not true investigators. We can't do anything here with that. You gotta call the police. You gotta file a police report. That's how it's handled. And then once the police are involved, it's the police's job then to contact you and us. And when they contact us, they may ask us for information. All right? Now,
y'all let me know. Is there a police report floating around about this incident? Who's the police guy? Broside Phil? I know when they did the Truth Seekers interview, I don't know if this was something that came up in that interview, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's no police report about this situation. But, y'all correct me if I'm wrong.
Now, the good news here is that at the shopping center where, my wife works, there's cameras everywhere. Like, I'm not even kidding you. I wish this was an exaggerated joke. It's literally not. There is an actual camera set up about 20, 30 feet away from where this happened in the parking lot. It's right there. It's a security camera. And it's must have gotten something on video of this. It had to have. Okay? But what you gotta understand is, around here, crime is very high. So there's potential that if someone actually did this, there's absolutely no way that they're gonna get them, because likely they were probably wearing a hoodie, a mask.
Now, if you catch his speech, he said the potential of if somebody actually did this. Why would he say that if he's talking to us about something that he is recalling already happened? It's speculative speech, as if he does not know. This is an interesting little tidbit there, but go ahead, Phil.
They're probably wearing things that would, hide their identity. And you might say, well, if someone's gonna steal your entire wheel off of your car, they couldn't just walk away with it. They must have had, like, somewhere to put it. I mean, you're right. They probably drove up in a car, removed it, tossed it in their car, and drove away. But the question is, would that have been caught on camera? What information? Could the car have a license plate? Or is it a fake license plate, a stolen, expired license plate on a car doing this kind of stuff? Correct? My wife is talking with mall security about this at the shopping center and basically getting all this information about what she should do, how she should file a police report. And, then I went on break. I called her.
He's talking in circles, man. It's almost as if he's making this shit up as he's going. He said they're talking to us about what to do in the mall, inside the shopping center. Like, what are we talking about here? Get to the meat of what you claim happened.
And she's like, well, I don't even know what to do. And I was like, well, let me think about this. Is there a spare in the trunk? So they checked, and there is a spare tire in the trunk. All right, that's good. The problem is there's no lug nuts, because they took the lug nuts. Okay, so you can't just put the spare tire on. You need to get lug nuts for the damn thing to put it on. Okay.
Wait, and so this happened in broad daylight inside of a shopping center, a mall area, according to him, and there's no eyewitnesses, and there's no camera footage of this whatsoever. This dude Phil believes that he can say anything and people are just going to eat it up. He's so accustomed to his dents just eating up everything that he says. It's just so crazy.
So that's issue number one. Issue number two is, how quickly could you maybe get a replacement wheel? And the answer is, if it was just the tire, you could take it to any tire place. Like, you could literally take this to Goodyear or something like that. And you could probably get a tire right away, and it wouldn't even be an issue, right? But the fact is, they took the whole wheel. So I need to get a specific wheel type for this car, which likely they probably don't even have something like that just sitting around in stock, right? So already you're talking about that's going to be a pain in the butt, right? It's not just, oh, just get the tire replaced, like the tire popped. It's, oh, the whole freaking assembly is missing off of the car, okay?
But the car has a spare. This is assuming he's telling the truth here. The car has a spare. So you can get it to where you need to go. It's not going to kill you to go grab a couple lug nuts real quick. You acting like this is a world-ending event and you need to call in Tony Stark and the Avengers. It's not. Now, I'm not saying that this cannot be, frustrating, because this is a huge inconvenience if it's going the way he claims it's going. But in the grand scheme of things, this is like a fly in the ointment, man. It's not that big a deal.
That's the issue there. So we're talking about what should I do? So in the meantime, I said to my wife, I said, let me call. My dad knows more about cars. He'll kind of know. He'll be more minded on what to do about this. In the meantime, work there with the security and file a police report. Get that moving, so that way that's in process. While on my end, I try to figure out what else we're gonna do here.
You see, look how he's framing this, like he's Batman jumping around on rooftops. He's coordinated with Barbara Gordon back at the tower about what to do next. And on top of that, why are you calling your father about a tire on your car, dude? I mean, I know y'all caught that. And I don't know about y'all, but if I call my pops asking him about the tires on my wife's car, he probably gonna call me stupid. He's probably gonna ask me what the hell is wrong with me. I should know shit like that. And he's right. We talking about a 30-something-year-old man here, or was feeling his 40s here. This was a couple of years ago, so he was in his late 30s, early 40s. They need to call your father about a damn tire? My goodness.
I call my dad, and we have a conversation about it. My dad is very level-headed about this stuff. And he says, basically, you basically got to get it to a car place. You got to get them to look and basically see what tires and order one for you. There's nothing you can do about it. They're gonna have to order a tire. They're not gonna have one there. But it really is a situation where, can I get this spare tire on the car and drive it around? Is it secure? Is the spare tire good? Right? The good news.
I'm sorry. This is so pathetic, man. You can tell he was so coddled as a child and even into his adulthood. This stuff right here should be everyday run-of-the-mill stuff. A slight inconvenience, you get it fixed, you move on. This man is asking his father, would the spare tire be okay? Yes, Phil. That's why the manufacturer of the car put it in there. It's specifically designed to get you from point A to point B in a situation that you're in right now, so you can eventually get the actual tire that you need. That's what it's designed for. That's why they placed it back there. My God.
News is, I've owned this car since it was new, and I never used the spare tire before. So the spare tire should be fine, okay? Just an issue that I don't have any lug nuts for the damn thing, because they took them. I'm talking with my dad, and he's like, yeah, so what you basically got to do is see if you can get that spare on, great. If you can't get that spare on, then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to call a car place, see if they recommend a towing service that could tow the car to the car place, and then that car place can essentially see if they can order a new tire for you or whatever, or not just tire, but a whole new wheel for you or whatever. So basically, I talked it out with my dad, like what exactly I should do, what are the steps. Because I didn't want to go out there, because, I'm probably going to end up going out there myself to help handle it. Quite frankly, Kat is kind of shaken about this. You go out to your car, you have a whole missing freaking wheel. You're kind of just shaken up about it.
You know what's so sad about this whole thing is Kat would probably be more equipped to handle this than he would. I mean, because for Phil, if he can't solve the problem by purchasing it on Amazon, it's not something he can handle. We know Phil's solution to his problem is just throwing money at it. Since this is a situation where he actually had to figure out what to do next, well, in his world, figure out what to do next. Everybody else knows exactly what to do. But for him, this was actually very challenging. I bet you Phil was up there sweating like a motherfucker, up swinging at the air, just pissed. over something trivial, man. This is not a big deal.
And I want to get out there to help her with the whole situation, so I'm there with her. We can handle it together as a couple rather than just one person trying to figure it all out. All right?
He's saying that as if Cat came out and a dump truck pulled up and some guys tried to abduct her and she just barely got away. He had to be there to rub her shoulder to make sure she was okay.
I get off the phone with my dad, and, oh, by the way, and we talked about insurance, okay? And essentially with insurance, the way that it would work is the only chance insurance would cover this, there's certain situations, some insurance will not cover a tire at all. Some will. It's situational. But the insurance is like not even a factor at this point because there's so much that has to happen before you can get any kind of car insurance involved. For example, we need a police report. The police likely have to get information from us, like this photo and other stuff. And then they'll likely want to check with the surveillance, and all of that to see what they can determine, if they can figure out who this is or not. All right?
This is such a nothing burger. I mean, the dude has spoken in circles about 3 or 4 times at this point. The police have to do police stuff, and then hopefully we can do insurance stuff. Everybody know, anybody who's beyond the age of 21 years old is intimately familiar with this process and how this works. But Phil, who at almost 40, and by the time you're almost 40, you should have owned, a couple vehicles at this point. And, unfortunately, by that point, you've probably been in an accident or 2 in your life, or somebody has been, but not Phil. For him, this is the end of days. Like, the man actually had to call his father, man. I just cannot get past that. That is just so crazy to me.
And then after all that's done, all right, then you can worry about maybe after having the replacement tire and everything done, or replacement wheel. I should say saying wheel because there's a difference between the tire and the wheel. The tire is just the rubber. The wheel is the entire assembly with it, okay? So once all that's done, once the entire replacement wheel is purchased, then you can look to maybe go to your insurance, give them a call and say, hey, look, so here's the deal. My wheel got stolen. I have evidence. There's a police report. There's all this involved. Can we get a claim against it? Can we maybe get this, But also there's other factors there, about deductibles and shit, right? So depending on what if your deductible is more than the cost of the wheel, then there's no point in even doing it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway. We're at the situation where I'm like, I don't care about the insurance at this point. I just need to get the immediate stuff solved, okay? So what I ended up doing was I actually called a couple places and got some details on where to take it and stuff like that, all right? And I said, well, I gotta get out there. So I called an Uber. I jumped in an Uber, and I scooted over to the mall, all right?
This dude is the absolute master of wasting everybody's time. This story should have been summed up in 5 minutes. Well, his version of events should have been summed up in 5 minutes. According to you, your wife was going on break or about to leave work. You don't know, according to you. And apparently her mouth hit the ground when she seen that her car was not only parked sideways, but her tire was also missing. And somehow the jack that was in the trunk was the jack used to steal the tire. I can imagine her surprise when she seen that. This is all according to Phil, obviously, right? But when he comes on stream, now think about this opposed to the Leanna situation when she had an anxiety attack or whatever it was, right? He had far more details about that. But you notice here when he's speaking in abstract, untangible things and it's all speculative speech. Oh, the police will have to do this. This is the procedures to do that. But none of that is really pertinent to what you claim happened. Okay? All you doing is taking us in circles and trying to create smoke and mirrors so we get confused about what's really going on here. And what's really going on here is you full of shit. But I'm going to let him continue.
It was actually a nice guy who drove the Uber. Very nice gentleman. And it was a nice, smooth ride. He was quick. So I was happy about that. I actually gave him a tip after the fact. Because I guess on Uber, what you can do is you can pay the fare, but then after the fact, if you have a good ride, you can tip. I actually give him a tip because I thought it was a nice ride. He was a nice person.
Now, anybody who's watched, I love watching police and detective interrogation videos, right? And anybody who's watched those videos, one of the key things that a guilty party does when they're being questioned or when they're telling a story is they oftentimes give you unnecessary and too much information, oftentimes not pertinent to what you're asking about at all. He just said that the Uber was a smooth Uber ride and the guy was a nice guy, and then went into how you can tip him. How is that relevant? It's like Phil lies so much that you can tell that a lot of times he don't even know what he's going to say. So now he just has to react to some shit that just came out of his mouth that he had no foreknowledge that it was going to actually come out. And it's just this weird vicious cycle that keeps repeating itself. It's crazy.
On the Uber, and I'm just as shocked as you guys are. I saw this in person. I was just like, in broad daylight. This is the middle of the day. This happened. This was not at night. This was not, this is not off in a corner, right? A corner of the lot. This was like, right there in the middle.
Which makes it even less believable. But go ahead.
In the middle. I'm just, what the fuck? Seriously, what the fuck? Okay. Okay, hold on. I got a couple shout-outs. Let's do shout-outs. Stitches Get Britches did a super chat saying no one steals a single tire, laughing out loud. I know! Let's talk a little bit about that, because when I got there, mall security was there, and I had a conversation with them. Okay?
Well, part of why this story is so bizarre is so he can make detractors look as if they're deranged. Like all of us have just escaped a mental asylum and we still have the straitjacket on as we run down the middle of the highway or something, ducking and dodging cars, screaming religious things or something. This would Phil would have you believe. Okay? Look, it's so bizarre. Like, it doesn't even make sense. This is why it's just more detractor propaganda. That's all it is.
Yes, George Costanza 6.0 has just tipped me $100. Wow. Well, thank you to George Costanza 6.0. That's very, very, very generous of you.
And that's what it's really about. It's about squeezing out those pity bucks, not only from his dents, but also from his parents. Phil has done this so many times. Can you imagine how many times his parents have been on the receiving end of a rant about detractors? Can you imagine their knowledge of the YouTube monetization system because they've heard Phil talk about it on a damn loop? Think about the dread that they feel when they know that he's calling. I mean, you want to talk to your children, man, but oh my goodness, man, he's had such a negative cloud around him. It would just suck the energy out of you. We all been around people who are perpetually negative. It does something to your spirit, man. They have a way of taking the fun out of everything.
I know I wasn't expecting that or looking for that tonight at all. That is so very nice of you. Okay?
Now you see how you had to throw that in there, right? Because inquiring minds are like, we know why you doing all this. Now, I'll say this. I don't think for a second that some detractor pulled up on him. Like they was a team of NASCAR mechanics or something and just grabbed a tire in 20 seconds or less. As you can see on that car right there, there's damage on the front fender. Okay, I would not be surprised at all if Kat was going through one of her favorite drive-thrus and she hit the PA system, the little monitor in the front that they talk out of. Nice little abrasion right there. And maybe she popped the curb a little bit. Because big people that are big like her, they tend to bump into things and turn stove knobs and knock over things, and a lot of times they don't know. It's almost like being in a big truck. You can see the things that are out in front of you, but the things that are right up on you is much harder, right? So the same thing is true when you're talking about somebody like Kat. Her mask is preventing her from being able to properly see the things that are going on around her. And it's very obvious to me that the curb was popped. The wheel assembly was probably broken or messed up in some type of way, and it had to be towed out of the parking lot the way it was. And then when they got it into a decent spot where it can be worked on, they used the jack that came with the car to prop it up so it can be repaired. That's my opinion. But y'all let me know what y'all think. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Urban style content. I'm dead.